Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had a good rest. Yesterday, we already talked quite extensively about the global trend to a more sustainable future and the challenges and opportunity this poses for the paper industry, including the paper industry in India. Yesterday, we also talked about that, and now I quote a speaker from yesterday, that we are the first generation who faces climate change, and we will be the last generation who can do something about it. Now, we all know that if we don't change our behavior, if we don't change the way we consume, the amount we consume, and the materials we use, we will need more than one planet in the next 30 years. Some estimates even say up to 3 planets are needed by 2050 if we don't change the way we behave at the moment. Yesterday, many times, ban of single-use plastic in India was mentioned, and there is a very strong need to find replacements for plastic. Oops. Now, those solutions, or I should say, in order to face those challenges and find solutions, it's important that all the stakeholders will have to work together. In other words, the paper industry, the converters, the suppliers of chemicals, us as Acroma, the brand owners, as well as the machinery producers. Those solutions will have to be affordable. In the end, we have to be able to sell them into the market. They have to be fast. We can't wait. There are laws, regulations coming up. And also, as mentioned yesterday, the plastic industry is also not standing still and is also working on solutions with biopolymers which are sustainable. For us as Acroma, as a producer of chemicals, our aim is to move basically from multi-layered plastic, paper packaging with a plastic liner, to the 3rd and the 4th dot on the graph behind me. In other words, as a first step, paper packaging with polymer coating, and as the ultimate goal, paper packaging with bio-based polymer coating. All that, of course, without that it cost the earth another way, all that without damaging our earth. Now, in this presentation, due to time constraints, I want to focus on oil and grease resistant barrier coatings. And I want to mention 4 examples of work done in our labs, which should make it easier for our customers to find solutions in replacing plastics. The number 1 example, an OGR coating which is developed in Europe. For example, our benchmark OGR coating was developed in Europe. Those products developed in Europe may not necessarily be the most suitable products for the local market conditions here. In other words, we have to adapt and adjust products developed elsewhere within our company, if needed, to the local conditions. For example, climate conditions may be different, the machinery used, the scale, and. I think this is an aspect which is often misunderstood, underestimated, the importance of adapting global products to a local market condition situation. In this example, we actually compared our OGR, our benchmark OGR barrier coating, developed in Europe, with a product which we adjusted, developed, modified for the local Indian market. And without going into details from the graphs, you can see that the results are very similar in performance. And with regards to moisture vapor even a bit better with the product which is modified for the local market conditions. Example number 2, blending chemistries. Now what does that mean? It means not every customer has the same requirements with regards to cost, performance, and application. So is it possible for customers to sort of tailor-make their own product by blending in different ratios the different products from Acroma with different functionalities? In other words, this is like a modular approach, and it would give our customers much more freedom to have products which work best for their applications. One example, our OGR developed for the Indian market has excellent OGR properties, but it doesn't have a good sealing property. So is it possible by blending the OGR barrier coating with our sealing coating in order to achieve a product which has good OGR performance and at the same time good sealable performance as well? Now, again, without going into details, we did a lot of tests in our lab and found that for this particular application, a blend of 45% OGR with 55% of the heat seal emulsion gave a performance which is overall best in balance between heat sealing, OGR, water resistance, and water vapor resistance as well. Another example, 3, of blending chemistries. We have a broad range of water-based cross-linkers which are used in the paper industry to strengthen the surface. Yeah. Those cross-linkers can work with natural binders as well as synthetic binders. Now, how can these cross-linkers help us? In this case, how can these cross-linkers can help our customers in order to improve the performance of our coatings? And in this study, we blended our local developed OGR with one of our cross-linkers and tried to see what sort of amount is needed and how the impact is on different properties. And we did that at 2 different coating weights. Coating weight around 4 and coating weight around 9. Again, without going into details, we found that you can improve certain applications, certain properties, by incorporating 1% of our cross-linker into the product. Bio-based, a topic which was already mentioned several times before. This is a very exciting topic. Now, why is bio-based important? There are more or less 2 reasons for bio-based binders to be important. Number 1, it makes it easier for the end product, the paper plus the coating, to be compostable and biodegradable. Number 2, bio-based binders are using raw materials coming from renewable sources. In other words, those resources have a carbon footprint which is much different from raw materials which are sourced from naphtha or crude. Yeah. In other words, this not only gives you the opportunity to get paper plus coating which is more biodegradable and more compostable, but at the same time you can lower the carbon footprint of your product. I think carbon footprint is going to be in the future a more and more important topic. I'll give you one example. In Vietnam, one of our customers, and this is not for the paper industry, this is for the coating industry, they got a requirement from their customer, IKEA, one of the biggest buyers of furniture in the world, to start providing bio-based binders by end of this year with a bio-based content of around 16%. So this is not something which is only important in the paper industry, it's starting to happen in other industries as well. Acroma came out a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, with the first bio-based binder with roughly 30% bio-based content. Now, often people associate bio-based binders with expensive, performance less than the conventional products. And that was to some extent indeed the case for our first generation of bio-based binders. Yeah. These binders had good OGR properties, but only with a short contact time. Yeah. However, We are developing now bio-based binders with up to 40% bio-based content. And one of those products from that series tested for kit, and we see that those products have a performance which is similar and even better than the performance of conventional OGR barrier coatings. Now this is very exciting, because here you have a product, bio-based, which will help you, number one, to make your end product more compostable, biodegradable, which will help you to lower your carbon footprint, but at the same time, it doesn't sacrifice the performance of your product. Another important property of this product is, and you can see that on the second graph, when we do the kit test and we do the folding, you will see that this product does not have a kit which is less after folding. So folding or no folding, the kit performance is the same. Now this is a very interesting property, because it basically means that this binder is more flexible compared to conventional binders. However, and this is very important, it doesn't give the blocking. Yeah. Normally you would expect a more softer, flexible binder to be more tacky, yeah, softer, yeah. But in this particular case, you have a balance of properties, more flexible without being sticky, yeah, without giving blocking issues, etc., etc. Ultimately for us, of course, the goal in the future will be to work with bio-based binders which have 100% bio-based content. But we are not yet there, yet. Yeah? Now, conclusion, Acroma is already able to supply and provide excellent OGR coatings, number one. Number two, we know from our experience in dealing with customers that not every customer has the same requirements, cost, performance-wise, and others. And our blending chemistries are a way for those customers to make products more tailor-made for them. And number three, we will continue to push and work on bio-based binders into the future. Now, this is important, and now I will read literally from my slide. We continue to think ahead and work on products with a minimum environmental footprint, so that we as Acroma can be your partner to a greener, safer, and more sustainable India. Thank you.